Hello and welcome to my virtual teaching space. My name is Samantha Bohr. I am also known as Miss Bohr. This year I am currently teaching at Classical Academy Charter School of Clifton. I teach 6th and 7th grade English Language Arts as well as 6th grade Science. This all comes from the fact that I have 2 certificates of eligibility, one in K through 6 general education and another in K through 12 English language arts. To more so understand me, I think it is important that you know that I graduated Montclair State University with a double major in English and General Humanities with a double major in mythology and film studies. During my time at Montclair State University, I did take all of the prerequisite courses to apply to the education program, but despite the fact that I followed their schedule, I did not do it in the exact amount of time that they would have preferred. Hence how I found out about the alternative teaching program through the state. So another part that is intrinsic in my teaching philosophies would be the fact that before becoming a teacher and going through this alternate route process, I have taken such classes as child development, historical foundations of education, philosophical foundations of education, and psychological foundations of education. Now, despite the fact that I took all these classes and was en route to go through Montclair State's teaching certification program, that didn't quite work out, so there were quite a few years between my education and becoming a certified eligible teacher. So a few things that have premised my understanding and beliefs in education are kind of basic, appropriate human standards of being polite, acceptable to others, as well as providing these types of behaviors within a classroom. And additionally, I have always had kind of a Machiavellian point of view. Is it better to be feared or loved? Yes, it's better to be feared, but it's best to be both. So it is best to be feared and loved, which is not terribly difficult to implicate when you're teaching 6th graders, to explain and understand and show your love for them while implicating that fear. 7th graders are definitely a bit more tricky, and everyone since getting back into person from the pandemic, even as an English teacher, I'm not sure I have the words. However, this class, 6 to 8, has given me a lot of perspective. Now, the theory that I would like to focus on, I will not say completely dominates my thought process, and it would be remiss of me to not consider the fact that I've also been taking the classroom management class at NJCU as well. And though they are not in correspondence with each other directly, they're definitely influential upon each other. But something that has given me a pause and had me move forward with my thought of how my learners are effectively productive is the concept of behaviorism. And it's not just because for my grandmother I learned that guilt and bribery are the key to success. Okay, so the applications vary within guilt and bribery, and the concepts themselves also, and definitely the terminology. But I can't say that she was wrong, or that I no longer believe that guilt and bribery are the key to success. However, I do have a new platform of vocabulary. So behaviorism, specifically that we learned about in chapter 3, was focused on the conditioning theories of Pavlov, Guthrie, Thorndike, and it was Thorndike's perspectives that specifically spoke to me, and not just because he was particularly influenced and interested by education, but that definitely didn't hurt. So between Thorndike and then we move on in behaviorism to B.F. Skinner, infamous, and I've definitely learned about before. That operant conditioning theory has also influenced my understanding of education. So generally behaviorism kind of revolves around that concept of stimuli to response to stimulus. So that antecedent to the behavior to the consequences. With Skinner, it's a heavy influence on consequences, and that's something that I have started to implement and would like to more heavily implement in my classes. And how do we do this? And it's in the facilitation of forming habits, forming responses, forming all of these types of things, whether you want it to be rote, not ideal, or a more natural and cross-curricular type of application that students can use. It is really within Skinner's connectionism, like in application 3.1 of facilitating transfer, where we can help students form habits, and not just habits, but good habits, like something I've specifically used in ELA and science of how to take notes. How do we break down the information that's in front of us? What do we do when we do not know the meaning of a word? Once we understand and have learned that meaning, what do we do? Yes, we go back, we reread that information, and then try to gain our understanding. One other huge thing that behaviorism has further explained for me is how to properly implicate reinforcements. So it's not just positive and negative. It's primary, secondary, positive and negative reinforcements that can help learners. And obviously, implementing or taking away reinforcements is the best use of your time. And focusing on those basic needs, making sure all of those are met before anything else to ensure your students' standards. And now this has become particularly important for me, not just with students, but with conversing with parents and guardians, because not all of them speak English as their first language, which by no means am I multi or bilingual, but I've used resources within the staff of my school to make sure that all parents, guardians, which I will now, moving forward, call caregivers, are aware of their child's or their students' abilities and what they need help with, and proper communication. Understanding these meanings now and actually being able to apply them to my classroom setting at large in specific situations is worth way more than I had to pay for this class. So I'm really appreciative to you, the professor, and JCU, and I hope that you understand how much I've learned from and will apply from this class, and thank you.